The honourable member for Kitchener South Hespeler.
Mr. Speaker, I've come over to the government side temporarily to offer my question today because I think it is a common sense question. I think that it is a bipartisan question. I think that anybody on the Liberal side of the House, on the Conservative side of the House, should be able to ask this sort of question and get a reasonable response. I certainly didn't want to be here tonight, Mr. Speaker. I asked what I thought was a very reasonable question of my friend, the Parliamentary Secretary for Health. She didn't really answer it, and that's why I'm here tonight. I'm going to try asking it again, and I'm going to beg her to answer it this time. So for folks following at home, the Liberal government in the last Parliament, they spent $250 million on a program called Prescribe IT with the laudable goal of making it easier for physicians such as myself to send prescriptions to the pharmacy. I'm from the Waterloo region. I went to the University of Waterloo. A lot of my friends are tech entrepreneurs and founders. Many of them are senior software developers at this stage of my life. I've asked them, how much money should this sort of thing cost? They've said, maybe 1 million, maximum 5. There is no way this should have cost $250 million. They were spraying money from a fire hose. Incredible to spend $250 million on something that should have cost 250 times less. But what's worse is the program didn't work. They know that it didn't work. That's why they've canceled it. So after spending $250 million of taxpayer money on something that didn't work, they're canceling it. The taxpayer's getting nothing. And I know that my friend, the Parliamentary Secretary of Health, I know she wasn't here in the last Parliament. She didn't sign that contract. The Prime Minister wasn't here. There's no blame in it for either of them, but as a country, as a Parliament, we need to get to the bottom of this. Like, it's Parliament's sacred duty to protect the taxpayer's dollar. 250 million of them is a lot. So we would like to see that contract. We put forward a motion at the Health Committee to just see the contract. The Government of Canada entered into that contract on behalf of the taxpayers, blew 250 million of their dollars. I think our bosses, the taxpayers, should get to see what the heck happened. My colleague, the Parliamentary Secretary for Health, spent 2 hours of all of our time filibustering that motion so as to not produce the document. I saw the Prime Minister today gave a speech to reporters where he said he doesn't like filibustering. He criticized some Conservative members for speaking about cats and dogs. Does the Prime Minister know she's been filibustering this document production order? Is he happy with it? Why is she doing it? Why won't she stop? Why won't she just let the taxpayers see this contract so we can all stop this sort of waste and mismanagement from going forward in the future under this new government that they like to call themselves? So I'm sitting close to her. I can see that she has prepared remarks. I'm begging her to put them away and just answer the very simple question to taxpayers. Why won't she let us, as Canadians, as taxpayers, as residents in an open society, why won't she just let us see that contract, please?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary, the Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank my friend and colleague from Kitchener South Hespeler for his question. Although he temporarily crossed the floor, although I hope it's more permanent than this. It's nice to have a friend just sitting right beside you during adjournment debates. As you know, Mr. Speaker, sometimes it could be a little bit lonely during the adjournment debate, so appreciate the companionship. And I think my colleague also mentioned, as a physician, he has seen firsthand how digitization has shaped and transformed Canadian healthcare over the past decades. And Kitchener, rightfully so, it's a capital of a lot of digital transformations and a lot of innovations coming out of the city and the university. So I think he's also very proud of that. The world is rapidly changing, and Canadians, rightfully so, expect that our healthcare system changes with it. That's why successive governments, both the Liberal and Conservative, have invested in Canada Health Infoway since 2001, with the goal of accessible information for patients and their doctors. And which is also why we've introduced Bills S5, the Connected Care for Canadians Act, at the Senate, so that Canadians can securely access their healthcare data anywhere and anywhere, anytime in Canada. Just as importantly, we need to reduce the administrative burden on doctors so they can spend less time on filling out paperwork and more time doing what they love, which is caring for their patients. This has been at the heart of the work by our government and by previous governments to develop a pan-Canadian interoperability roadmap, one that drives the adoption and use of electronic medical records by doctors across the country and helps them share data safely and securely. Part of this work included Prescribe IT. As the member knows from his time as a doctor, many physicians are still using fax machines. It's almost impossible to find fax machines anywhere else in the world, in a world with emails and secure online messages. But if you go to a doctor's office, some of them, you still feel like you've been transported to a different time. That was why the previous government worked with the provinces and territories to develop Prescribe IT. The goal was to move our health system towards safe, secure, and efficient e-prescribing that could deliver real benefits to Canadians and to the healthcare providers who serve them every single day. I think the member also would agree that this was an understandable, worthwhile goal, as he's mentioned in his remarks. But no matter the intention, the facts have been very clear. The previous government intention for Prescribe IT to become self-sustaining, and by any measure, it was clear that the program wasn't achieving that very goal. Rather than simply continuing to invest in a program that wasn't delivering the intended results, we undertook a comprehensive review and consultation process that included engaging with provinces and territories and the people who actually use the program. Based on these findings, we decided to end Prescribe IT. But the work to promote a more connected healthcare system for Canadians needs to be and will continue. We'll continue to support organizations like Infoway as well as provinces and territories to develop innovative new digital solutions. Not only that, we're backstopping this work with Bill S5, the Connected Care for Canadians Act, that will help Canadians move their health data with them anywhere they go. Canadians deserve a modern health system, and I look forward to working with my friend and colleague to deliver that. Thank you.
The honourable member for Kitchener South Hespeler.
So let's start that work right now. Please answer the question. Why won't you let us see the contract?
Through the chair, the honourable parliamentary secretary, Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Facts has been clear. Prescribe IT was launched by the previous government with the goal of building a national e-prescribing system. While this is an important goal, the fact is the Prescribe IT didn't have the pickup among doctors and pharmacies needed to make the system self-sustaining. At the time when we need to spend less and invest more, our government decided to end the funding for the program. There is important work to be done in creating a connected digital healthcare system that works for all Canadians, and through legislations like the Connected Care for Canadians Act, we're delivering on the digital future.